Hi, I'm Shelley Wood. You might know me from shelleywood.com. This is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today I'm going to show you how to make a one-piece swimsuit for the 28-inch tall Barbies. This swimsuit has a pretty keyhole in the back. Before we begin, please go to shelleywood.com to download these two free printable sewing patterns. There's a link below this video on YouTube that should help. Use the pattern to cut out the pieces you see here. Sew a dart for each top bodice front and trim away any excess fabric from the dart. Here's how it looks from a different angle. Now you should have 4 darted fronts. Lay a top front over the top of a bottom front like you see me doing right here. If you have fabric with a print, you want to make sure that right sides are together. Stitch across the area where the top and bottom meet, making sure that the dart seam stays open. Do this for all 4 bodice fronts. Lay one front on top of another, again with right sides facing. So you'll see me doing that right here. First pin and then stitch these together from the neckline going down to the crotch. Do this for both fronts and then open them up. By open them up, I mean you just do this. Now you have 2 fronts that look like this. Set one front on top of another, and again, if you have fabric with a right and wrong side, you want to make sure right sides are facing. It shouldn't be too hard to tell because you've got seams on the other side. Now carefully pin that neck to crotch seam open before you start pinning the whole neckline like you see here. Stitch along the neckline, but keep that seam open both on the front and the back of the garment as you sew. Clip the neckline. Again, you'll want to clip, but it's not time to invert just yet. So we're clipping, then pin and sew the leg seams. Once you've sewn the leg seams, you're going to clip the leg seams on both sides of the leg. So first one side, then the other side. Do not invert the front just yet. You want to, but don't do it. Instead, set the front aside for a moment. Lay the back top piece over the back bottom piece, being careful to align the darts again and keeping those right sides together. So if you have fabric with a print on one side, you'll want to make sure that right sides are together when you do this. Notice the dart is key. That little indentation thing, the notch. Stitch across the area where top and bottom meet, but please note that the top will overlap the bottom a little bit, and that overlap is due to the keyhole that we're going to see later. Stop sewing 2 centimeters from the overlap's edge. That's about 5/8 inch from the edge. Follow these same steps for both of your backs. You'll actually have 4 pieces that look like this. Flip the tops up as shown in this clip. Here you can kind of see that keyhole overlap a little better as I flip those tops up. And again, you're going to have 4 pieces that look like this. Set one back on top of the other. Here I am doing that. Again, right sides should be together when you do this. Sew from the edge of the strap at the top, the swimsuit strap, along the neckline, and you're going to turn a corner at the overlapping area and create another corner at the overlap's base. Now remember, you'll have 4 back sections, so you'll have to sew this seam twice. For easy viewing, here are the stitches shown in red. That's how you want to sew it. And then you're going to clip along the stitches like I've shown here in blue. So you can see me doing my clip. Once again, we're not quite ready to invert this garment. I know it seems like we should, but just hang on. Sew around the leg area and do this for both your backs, and then clip those seams. Now you have 2 backs that look like this and a front that looks like this at the top. Open up the front's swimsuit strap and one of the back straps, and you're going to join these 2 again with right sides together. Now that's confusing, so here's how that looks. I open a back, I open the front, I set the front's strap on top of the back's strap with right sides facing, seams out. Sew these straps to one another. This seems counterintuitive, but it really does work. Now your garment's going to look like this. Follow the same steps to attach the other back. So different strap, open up the front, you're looking at the right side of the front strap, open up the back, you're looking at the back side of the back's strap, and then you join these 2 with right sides together and sew the straps together. Now your garment looks like this. Now you're finally ready to invert the garment. Okay, so you're seeing me do that here. You invert the backs, and then you just flip the whole front around until you've got the whole thing inverted. It's easier than it looks. Press all seams on both the back and the front parts of the garment. But we still have a raw edge where the arm will go through the strap. You're going to turn those raw edges of the armholes inside and whip stitch to close each of them. Now you're probably a pretty advanced seamstress or sewist if you are looking at this video, but if you do need help with whip stitch, I have a tutorial on that. Look in the description below this video on YouTube to find my whip stitch tutorial, but most sewists know how to do the whip stitch, so I'm guessing you probably know that if you're going to try this project. It's not an easy project for a beginner. Now that both armholes have been closed, your garment looks like this. Fold one of the backs against the front like you see here. Pin it from the underarm to the hip. Sew where you've pinned. Now it can be easy, especially if you're using stretchy fabric, to have it kind of jiggle, so make sure bodice, top and bottom are matching up. Fold the other back onto the front, pin it, and stitch from the underarm to hip, again making sure that the jiggly fabric doesn't wiggle. Now we'll sew the buttocks together. Fold the garment in half like this, pin both backs together from the crotch to 2 inches below the top's seam. So stop 2 inches before that closure notch. That's about 4.5 centimeters below the closure notch. Now your garment looks like this. Join the front and back crotches, stitch across the crotch, Now we're going to work with that keyhole area. At the back of the garment, under the closure flap, you're going to push the raw fabric inside itself and whip stitch around the keyhole area. So I'm going to show you that in video format here just so that you get a feel for what we're doing. We just push that inside and then we begin our whip stitch. You're going to whip stitch from the buttocks or lower back area to the closure flap on both sides of the keyhole. Now your garment looks like this. And here's the front view. Invert the whole swimsuit. I'm just showing you that I'm inverting. Open it up from the keyhole, flip it around. Add a couple of snaps or some velcro to the back flap closure. And now you're ready to try this swimsuit on your doll. I love the way this turned out. It really turned out great. For more free printable sewing patterns for dolls of many shapes and different sizes, remember to visit shelleywood.com. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos and all my free patterns, please share them on your favorite social media platforms. It really helps my website grow if you help me spread the word. Goodbye.